Hey guys, this is Matt and Sarah from Amateur Filmies, and for today's video we'll be doing another Blu-ray haul. We've got a few different types of pickups here today. We've got a DVD, a couple of Blu-rays, some Steelbooks, and most importantly, a whole bunch of Arrow Video releases from their most recent sale over on Zavvi. We got quite a lot, and we cannot wait to show you.
No regrets.
Yeah. As usual, we'll be sure to show you the ins and outs of the cover art when it's applicable, and the box sets and stuff like that, but yeah, we hope you enjoy.
So this first one is a DVD. We were looking out for the Blu-ray release of it, but unfortunately it's only released on DVD in Australia. It's not Eats the World. It's not without its flaws.
Yeah, I think we had pretty differing opinions on this one. I personally didn't like this one very much. I know it was sort of, the whole point was to be sort of like an exploration of the main character's sort of, you know, angst and inner turmoil towards obviously being alone in the world. But I just felt like it just ended up being a bit too boring all the way through, so I thought it was a little bit disappointing, but I'm glad I watched it still.
Yeah. Nothing really happened, but, you know. And next up we have Insidious Chapter 3. The first two Insidious movies I really loved. This one is still a decent horror movie. The fourth one, questionable. But this one's directed by Lee Winnell, so we definitely had to have it.
Yeah.
Then we have Tales of Halloween. Now, I love a good anthology film, and I also love Halloween-related stuff, so I figured it was a no-brainer to get that one.
Yeah, we haven't watched it yet, but as I think I've said in a previous video, we're trying to get more anthology films, so we definitely want to check this one out, see if it's any good.
Absolutely. And then we have The Ring 2, and we finally have a Blu-ray release of this. We had this on DVD before, and Cinema Cult from JB Hi-Fi, or you can get them through JB Hi-Fi, finally put it out, so we figured, you know, may as well complete the trilogy.
I think this is, to my knowledge, the only Blu-ray release of The Ring 2 that's out there. I could be wrong, but in general, we try to avoid Cinema Cult. They're sort of known for sort of not the best types of releases, like having cropped images and lack of special features and stuff, but it was the only Ring movie that we have that's on DVD, so we just figured we may as well upgrade to this, and we can always sell it in the future if a better release comes out.
Absolutely. Next up, we have Tom Savini's fantastic 1990s remake of Night of the Living Dead.
Really like the art on this one. Looks cool.
Absolutely. And we picked it up for pretty cheap at JB Hi-Fi.
Yeah.
So it was pretty lucky to get that.
Yeah, but I think this is a really good, modern take on it, I guess. It doesn't really change a whole lot, but it does increase in the way of gore as well.
Definitely. And I think it changes a few character motivations. And I think the character of Barbara, she's much more developed in this one.
So that covers the standard releases. We're going to move into the Steelbooks that we have to show. And the first one we got through Zavvi, and this is the original Flatliners movie. Now, neither of us have seen this one before. Have you seen it?
Oh, ages ago.
Yeah, I definitely haven't seen this before. The only one I've watched is the remake, and that was garbage. But I figured I would get this one. It was extremely cheap, and it's considered a classic, and, you know, it's got some big names in it. I mean, it's got Kiefer Sutherland, Julia Roberts, and Kevin Bacon in it, William Baldwin, and Oliver Platt.
Enough said.
Yeah, those are a lot of big names, and as I said, I know it's supposed to be a decent movie. I thought I'd give it a try, and yeah, cheap Steelbook, why not? So this next release that we got actually arrived today as of filming this, and a little quick funny tidbit about it. So I ordered this from the UK, and generally, you know, it's easy to expect when you get something off eBay for free postage from overseas, you're going to have to wait a while, but it was over 4 weeks, and I put in it hadn't arrived yet, so I sent them a message saying, look, I still want the item, it hasn't arrived yet, I'm open to a refund if you think there's something gone wrong with the postage, but I still want the item, and they didn't reply to me at all. They just refunded me instantly. And I'm like, okay, fair enough.
That was earlier today, wasn't it?
Well, yeah,
Last night.
I sent them the message like 2 days ago, and then they refunded me yesterday, and then today it showed up. Anyway, I'll cut with the suspense. The Blu-ray Steelbook is of The Woman. Now, I actually first watched this movie maybe about 8 or 9 years ago. I remember when I got it when I was a teenager from Utopia Records on DVD, and it was one of the... It's a pretty disturbing movie. It's got some really shocking sort of sequences in it, and, you know, but it's actually quite a decent sort of horror movie. It's not really hard to explain, but it's just, yeah, I don't know. What did you think?
Oh, I loved it. It was definitely shocking, but it had a really sort of satisfying ending.
Yeah, it's quite brutal. I would probably recommend it, but it's one of those ones. Definitely do research, especially if you're not sort of into more shocking, disturbing movies. I guess it's pretty out there.
The funny thing with this one is I actually can't remember if we've shown it in a previous haul, but I figure it would be safe to show it now.
Yeah, it was in the pile of recent purchases, but I can't remember if we put it there by accident. So apologize if we've already shown this before.
No harm done, I guess. So it's the 2012 Steelbook. And we got this as a bargain on eBay, didn't we?
Yeah, it was like $8 or something, postage included.
I think that's pretty bloody good. Like, look at that. And I really love this movie. You could argue it's not the best. My dad's obsessed with disaster movies. He watched Independence Day. I feel like he watches that probably monthly. He loves that movie, and he loves 2012 as well. Deep Impact, all those types.
I can't really watch. I don't mind disaster movies, but they just give me anxiety.
They're great.
Yeah.
Next up, we have another Zavvi edition that we were waiting months and months for.
Yeah, we pre-ordered it and it got delayed, I'm pretty sure, but it finally came.
Yeah, I mean, we're not complaining now. We finally have it. We got it in time for Halloween, ironically. But I actually really enjoyed this remake. Sequel.
Yeah, it's a sequel to the original.
That's it. I thought it was really decent.
Yeah, I mean, like, there are definitely some aspects, especially with the storytelling. There's one, I won't go into it, but there's one particular element in the writing that just really pissed me off when I watched it. I couldn't believe that they did that. I know I'm being vague, but anyway, one thing I was really happy to have gotten this for is, like, I'm happy that I got to watch this in the cinema. I'd never seen a Halloween movie in the cinema before, so that was really cool to do as well. And rewatching it, yeah, as I said, apart from that one little tidbit about it that I didn't like, it's really good to watch. We watched it as a family, and even though my dad's not huge on horror, he still enjoyed it, so...
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
I've never actually seen this Steelbook before for this movie, and when Matt found it on eBay, I was like, we definitely need to have it. It's crazy. So this is the Zombieland Steelbook. It's so cool. I love the movie as well. I didn't mind Zombieland 2. I know Matt wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I think it was a good franchise overall. Yeah,
pretty fitting that we found that not long after watching the sequel. And if you're interested in, if you haven't watched the new sequel, or if you're interested in hearing our thoughts on it, we did do a review of that, so you can find that on our page. But yeah, the original reigns true. Okay, so now is my favorite part of any haul video we do is when we get to show off the boutique labels. And as I said at the start, we have plenty of Arrow video titles to show, so...
We're obsessed.
Yes, we are. Okay, so the first one we have here is... the art on this is just gorgeous. This is the case of the Scorpion's Tail. Now, I really wanted to pick this one up because, for two reasons. One, I'm always trying to expand our Giallo collection. It's it's one of my favourite subgenres of horror. And it was also directed by Sergio Martino, who is also known for doing the movies Torso, All the Colours of the Dark, and... Your Vice is a Locked Room and Only I Have the Key. That's right. I haven't seen much of his filmography, but from what I have seen, I actually really enjoy his work, and this is one that I'm really keen to check out because I've heard really, really good things. And as I said, I like to get more Giallo films, and based on Arrow's filmography and what we already have, this is one of the better ones that I hadn't picked up yet. So, really excited to watch that one. So the next film they're going to be showing here is the film Colobus. I was really excited to check this out. Actually, John from the horror group that we're a part of in Australia, he actually recommended this one highly as being an underrated horror film from the 90s. And I finally got around to watching it, and I actually really, really enjoyed it. It's quite low budget, but it sounds weird, but you can tell that there's a lot of passion in this movie. I know that sounds really weird, but like, I believe it's the director's only movie. And I don't know, it's just a really, really amateur, but also quite fun. And I liked on the back, and it does ring true. It says it's Saw meets Suspiria.
Although it's not as good as those two movies.
Obviously,
let's be clear.
Okay, yeah, it's not as good as either of those.
but it's still great.
Yeah, I can definitely see myself rewatching this one in the future. So this next one I'm really excited to finally watch. This is Brand to Kill, directed by Seijun Suzuki. And we were lucky enough to get the first print run, actually, even though it's been out for a while. It comes with the booklet inside, which is really cool. Really, as I said, really excited to watch this one. It's heralded as his masterpiece, actually, and it was the movie that infamously got him fired from the Nikatsu studio, which was like a film studio in Japan that he worked for and produced movies for, and apparently the director just saw this movie and just didn't understand what the hell he was doing and fired him for it, and it was unfortunately a commercial failure at the time, but since then it has gained like cult status and is supposed to be really, really iconic. So really excited to finally get around to watching this one. It's yeah, should be really, really interesting. This next one was a dark comedy called With Nail and I. And I actually watched this one as soon as it arrived because I'd heard such great things about it, and I quite liked it. It's a British classic. I hadn't seen it before, as I said, and yeah, it was interesting to see Richard Griffiths in something that wasn't Harry Potter. He's Vernon Dursley. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect. I think I was sort of thinking that I was going to get more of a plot-driven movie, but this sort of felt more like just a day in the life of these characters who are just sort of neurotic, washed-up actors, and it's set in the 60s as well. And I know it was really interesting to see their friendship. I don't want to say blossom, but just seeing how they play off with one another. And yeah, I definitely want to give it a rewatch and sort of view it through that lens as opposed to because when I first watched, I was like, I don't know if I like where this is going, but I did end up enjoying it, and it is the type of movie that I think would be better on rewatches as well.
So, funnily enough, my dad told me about this movie, or told both of us about this movie after he'd read a review on it. It's Gaspar Noé's Climax. So you may know Gaspar Noé from Irreversible and Love, I believe. I haven't seen either because Irreversible is quite controversial. I'm still sort of building myself up to watch it because I've heard it's very, very disturbing. Yeah. But Climax centers around a dance troupe who are celebrating, and I think they get spiked, and it sort of just descends into chaos from there. And I don't know too much about it, and I'm sort of saving it for the watch. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. But really excited for my first Gaspar Noé film.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of his works. I haven't seen all of them. One I still want to watch. I believe he did Enter the Void, which is one that I've really been wanting to watch for a long time. But I have seen Irreversible, and he also did the movie I Stand Alone. Oh. But he's a very creative filmmaker, and he does depict some really shocking things in his films. And so I don't know how much that will be depicted in this movie, but I do sort of associate him with a particular style, so it'll be interesting to see if that has continued on throughout the years since those movies first came out.
So this next one is called The Andromeda Strain, and it's based on a book by Michael Crichton. He wrote Jurassic Park. So he's a legend of a writer. But yeah, this film follows a space shuttle returning to Earth and bringing back a killer virus that wipes out part of humanity. And it's one of the first killer virus movies of its time, of its era. And I love those movies, so hopefully I love this one too. I'm a big fan of movies like Contagion and Outbreak with Patrick Dempsey. But yeah, I love that type of genre. Now, you guys probably know our policy on double dipping at this point, but we couldn't help it with this one because we absolutely love this film and we love this release from Arrow. It's Ring, sorry. And I love this steelbook. I love the back of it too. How scary is that?
Yeah.
We've shared our thoughts on this movie, I think in Blu-ray Haul 2. Fantastic movie, terrifying, and probably one of my favourite all-time horror movies.
And regarding the double dipping, it came out to $14. So for a limited edition steelbook, why not?
Yeah, we can't say no to that.
Yeah. So I believe I may have mentioned at some point in our Arrow video collection video, maybe when I was showing Blowout, that I've been really wanting to expand our Brian De Palma collection because I just heard about his influence on so many other filmmakers, and the ones that I had seen from him were just so good. And so I took advantage of the sale and picked up 3 of his films, all that I hadn't seen before, but I watched them as soon as they came. The first one here is Sisters. Now, one thing that I guess you could say Brian De Palma, he does get criticized for it, and that is for being showing his films showing such heavy influence from Alfred Hitchcock films. Some would say they're sort of tributes to him. Others would say they're direct rip-offs. I haven't seen enough of Hitchcock films to sort of say the degree to which that's true. Although there are definitely elements of Rear Window that have most very obviously inspired this film. It's quite creative for the time and quite a decent effort. Early 70s film. I would say it's sort of middle of the range as far as his filmography goes, but definitely not a bad one. So the next Brian De Palma film that we're going to be showing is his film Obsession, also from the early 70s. Now, I just want to quickly say as well, I sort of was trying to be careful when I was talking about Sisters. Brian De Palma's films, most people know him for, having a lot of twists and turns in the narrative and stuff like that. I was trying to be very careful with my words when I was describing Sisters, so, and I'll have to do the same here. But I will say that there is some twists in this story that just really sort of surprised me at, like, sort of, I guess how dark they were, but also how creative. And even though the twists were sort of just like, what the hell is going on, it didn't end up being too unbelievable in the end. Very interesting story overall. And yeah, just a really, really interesting effort by him. And I think, well, because unfortunately I did watch this one without Sarah, so I'll happily rewatch this one with her. But yeah, definitely a decent movie. Okay, and the last film by Brian De Palma that we picked up is one of his more better-known ones, Dressed to Kill. Now, I mentioned when I was talking about Sisters how he's very known for being heavily inspired by Alfred Hitchcock, and as I did say, I haven't seen enough Hitchcock films to be able to pick up on how a lot of that is prevalent in his work. But I have seen Psycho. I know Psycho very well, Psycho. And this one takes a little bit too much, I would have to say, from Psycho. That didn't mean that I didn't enjoy this movie. I think there are a lot of aspects to it that are actually done really well, and I kind of liked seeing that sort of similar storyline stuff going. I'm trying to be vague on purpose because I don't want to give away too much, but unfortunately, it is one of those films where if you've seen Psycho, you probably know where this is going, and hence it's pretty easy to sort of figure out what's going on. But that being said, there are some tense sequences, and it's really cool to see Michael Caine in a thriller movie. I haven't seen too many of his films apart from the sort of more blockbustery ones,
like Austin Powers 3, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the career-defining role, of course. Yeah. But yeah, no, he was great in this, and yeah, just decent movie overall. But as I said, it just took a little bit too much from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho.
So now we're moving into big box set territory. And I thought we'd start off with probably the definitive werewolf movie of all cinematic history. American Werewolf in London, directed by John Landis. And this features a very, very iconic transition scene. The effects were done by Rick Baker.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I just remember watching this as a kid and watching that scene. Without giving too much away, there's a scene straight after someone goes to an English pub, and it is the most terrifying piece of cinema a child could ever watch.
Yeah, I honestly love this film, and interestingly, and honestly, he deserves it. Rick Baker won his first Oscar for this film.
As well he should have.
Yeah, and really cool fun fact that makes me jealous, John Landis, excuse me, he wrote the script for this when he was 18 years old.
What the heck?
Which is crazy. Obviously, he didn't shoot it when he was that old, but he had written it at that age, and that just makes me feel like I haven't achieved anything in my life. But yeah, just a absolutely staple horror, even a horror comedy. Yeah, it is a horror comedy. It is a comedy.
I forget that because there's some scenes in it that are quite absurdist as well, aren't there? And this is a fantastic thing. I'm so glad we have it in our collection now.
Yeah, and it's definitely one that a lot of people were anticipating picking up because it's just such an iconic movie, and this one will definitely sell out. So I think it's still available as we're talking about this. But if you haven't picked it up already, definitely look into it. I'm pretty sure you can still get it off of Zavvi.
And then we have Clive Barker's Nightbreed. We were advised to pick this one up by pretty much everyone in horror groups and stuff. They said it was fantastic. We actually watched it last night with Matt's dad, who left halfway through because it was a little too wacky for him.
Yeah, he wasn't vibing it. It's one of those things, like, we definitely wanted to pick this one up as well because we knew that obviously it's a cult classic, and Scream Factory had like a box set of it out that's obviously out of print now, and it goes for a lot of money. So I found this as like my chance to finally get a really good edition of it. And I think we watched the theatrical version, and look, I felt very conflicted. I honestly thought I was going to enjoy it more. I don't want to say that I didn't like it. It's sort of hard to put into words how I felt about it. I think we'll definitely watch the director's cut soon, because I feel like maybe I'm just missing something from watching it the first time around.
Yeah.
But look, the makeup effects were probably the best part of the movie.
Beautiful, yeah. The creatures looked amazing.
Yeah, it felt like the story lacked a bit of coherent direction. I feel like there were some parts I'm just like, I'm rather than really knowing what was going on, I'm just like, okay, I guess that's sort of happening now, or, you know, I didn't really want it. Yeah, I don't know.
You're right, though.
Yeah. Maybe I just wasn't in the right frame of mind to have been watching it. But as I said, we'll watch the director's cut, because I have heard that the director's cut is the superior version. So we've got 3 big box sets left to show, and we'll preface this by saying that these are blind buys. However, with the buy one get one free deal that Arrow was running on these box sets, or at least the first 2 I'm about to show, it would be a dumb move not to get them, because it's just so economical to get them in these sets, because buying them individually would have been just as much as buying the box set anyway. So with that said, I'll show the first one we got. Now this is the complete Sartana set.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, this set is absolutely gorgeous. Now, if you weren't too sure, this was actually a reprinted box set, similar to how they did the Hellraiser trilogy box set, where essentially there was an original Arrow video box set of the Sartana set that was limited to, I think, 2,500 copies, long since out of print and goes for ridiculous money now. But however, Arrow has done something very nice for us collectors and has reissued these box sets. Now, they're not the exact same as the out of print ones, so people who have those ones don't feel like the value of them are going down. The only difference, as far as I can tell, is that the set doesn't come with the hardcover book inside. But as I said, economically, it just makes sense if you want the movies to get them in the box set, because it worked out to be about $8-9 a movie in the end. And I'm really excited to watch these, because unfortunately, Western films are just one of those genres where I have very, very little experience in. There are some of the huge classics that I haven't even watched yet, and I figured I love Arrow Video, I love the box sets, why not give this a try and sort of get my way into sort of I think that's the spaghetti Western, so like the Italian sort of stuff. Could be wrong, but as I said, it was a blind buy, but I really look forward to watching these and seeing how I feel about them. So the next box that we have here is another reissued one. This is 6 Gothic Tales. Now, as you can imagine, this includes 6 films. And the difference between this one and the original box set, which, as I said, is also out of print and goes for hundreds of dollars, the main difference is the movies come split among the 3 cases, so you get 2 movies per case, as opposed to the original one, which had 6 individual cases and also a hardcover book. So while this one isn't technically as extensive as that box set, you can't really go wrong in the price. And the films that you get in this one are The Fall of the House of Usher, The Pit and the Pendulum, Tales of Terror, The Raven, The Haunted Palace, and The Tomb of Ligeia. Now, I'm really excited to watch these ones. I like my gothic horror stuff, so it'd be cool to cross a few of these off the list. And as I said, it saves me having to buy them all individually, and which would have ended up costing about the same, if not more anyway. So very, very happy to have this one and cannot wait to watch some of these. So the final release that we have to show you today, and I'm so excited that this finally came in the mail, this is Macabre Visions, the films of Mario Bava. Absolutely stunning looking box set, and a really, really cool edition to have. We had a bit of a headache with this one. I pre-ordered this one all the way back in July, and then got a email when it was due out saying it had been delayed by 2 weeks, which is fine, happens. But then 2 weeks came and went, and no shipping notification. Ended up reaching out, and I was getting really worried because it had actually sold out. It had gone out of print, and they still hadn't shipped it to me. So I was really worried. But a bit back and forth, and it actually finally arrived, and I'm so excited to have this. One of the reasons I really wanted to own this box is just I really love box sets to just combine all the films, especially of like a particular director, into one. Obviously, he's done a lot more than just what's in this box set, but like I feel like this box set is
main ones.
Yeah, like it's very representative of what he's known for and like his style. One key film that is missing is Blood and Black Lace, which I probably will pick up separately at some point from Arrow Video. But yeah, just a beautifully compact set that has all of his really great works in it. And included in here, you should be able to see them on screen right now, but I'll quickly read them out. You get Black Sunday, The Girl Who Knew Too Much, Black Sabbath, Kill Baby Kill, $5 for an August Moon, A Bay of Blood, Barren Blood, Lisa and the Devil, and Rabid Dogs. So a lot of films there, really great for the price, and yeah, very, very happy to have this as part of the collection.
We hope you enjoyed our Blu-ray haul today. We will have a bit of a break between Blu-ray hauls, just because we have to tighten our budgets a bit. You know, Christmas time. Matt's actually applying for a new job at the moment, so we'll see how that goes. And yeah, really excited. But we have plenty of other videos to show off our collections. and we can't wait for you to see them.
Yeah, we really appreciate you watching this all the way through if you did, and as I said, we'll have some more videos out soon. But yeah, thanks very much for watching.
Have a good night.